Hi, welcome to DittDott, home cooking with a dash of inspiration and a pinch of empowerment. Today we're going to be making Ree Drummond's Asian noodle salad and talking about the secret to happiness. I mean, what more can you love, right? Well, let's get started. So earlier this afternoon, I had a dentist appointment, which ended up not happening because apparently there was a scheduling snafu. But regardless, I went ahead and pre-made this dressing. And so I'm going to insert footage right now how to make it.
Okay, guys, you know that I never measure, but Ree Drummond's recipe it actually calls for olive oil. I didn't have any, so I used about half a cup of avocado oil, 1/4 cup of oyster sauce, 1/3 cup of soy sauce, 1/4 of cup of rice wine vinegar, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. I think I used a little bit less, although maybe not. Again, I just eyeballed all of this. And then I'm grating in 2 cloves of garlic. Make sure that you wipe it all in. And then her recipe says 3 tablespoons of fresh chopped ginger. I store mine in the freezer and I just grate it, peel and all. I didn't use 3 tablespoons. When it's frozen like that, you just can grate it in and it's so simple. And then when you're done, just put it back in a Ziploc bag and put it back in the freezer. You don't want to let it come up to room temperature or it will get soggy. Next, we're going to put a lid on, give it a really good shake. That oyster sauce is pretty thick, so you want to make sure it gets incorporated pretty well. And then give it a taste and make adjustments as needed. But this came out really good.
And I'm pulling out this beautiful bowl that was given to me as a housewarming gift. I absolutely just love this. But we're gonna go ahead and chop up some vegetables. Behind me, I've got a pot of water boiling to put some pasta in. This salad is pretty easy and it's adaptable to the ingredients that you have on hand. I'm gonna start with a carrot and I'm actually just going to slice up the carrot like this. So I don't know if you've ever heard this quote before. It's something that I have heard and lived by for a long time. A secret to happiness is letting every situation be exactly what it is instead of what you think it should be. Now, what does that mean? It's easy to say that, but what does that actually mean? So let's get into a little bit of story time, okay? So my husband and I, our 19th anniversary is coming up in a couple of days, March 1st. And when we were first dating, and even after we were married for a while, we'd go on a date and I would have an expectation built up into my head about what that date was going to look like. Like, oh, we were going to hold hands and it was going to be so romantic and he was going to take me, you know, and bring me flowers or, you know, whatever it was. Back then I was young and I had expectations in my head, but I didn't communicate them. And that's a discussion for a whole nother day, is about communication. But I didn't communicate my expectations, so my husband, boyfriend at the time, you know, he had his own expectations for the date. And so the date would go however it went, and my expectations didn't line up with what was happening in reality. And so often I would be like frustrated and I would like be pouty and it just not a good combination, right? So what you want to do is be okay with what actually is happening in reality right now. So for instance, let's say like I've got a head of red cabbage here, but let's say, oh, I want it to be a green head of cabbage. Well, I can be upset about that, or I can be like, okay, well today we're going to be using red cabbage, and it doesn't mean that in the future I can remake this salad using a green head of cabbage, which, haha, I actually do have both. But so I'm gonna go ahead and shave off and pull just a little bit of cabbage here to add to my carrots. So how can you apply this to, so my water is boiling, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in some of my pasta. I don't want to use this whole bag. I'm going to use just about half of it because I don't want to make enough for like a ton, just enough for dinner for 4 tonight. I always take how much I think I need and then add a little bit more. Okay, so how does this relate to your life? How can you, where is it in your life that reality, you are resisting what is and creating a different expectation and therefore not aligning yourself to happiness? Maybe it's your job. Do you have a job that you want to be in a different job? You just don't like your job and every day you are upset about the job that you're in. Well, until you deal with, okay, this is the job I'm in, doesn't mean I can't be in a different job in the future. Your expectations are going to cause an upset. They're going to cause you to be unhappy no matter what. But you can create, so now I am going to go ahead and use some of this green cabbage. You can create something around that is like, have your feelings about your job, have your thoughts, and just be like, it is what it is. There's no reason to get upset because these are my set of circumstances. This is my reality. And that's going to give you power to then go ahead and work on changing that. If you're just stuck in your current expectations and upset about them instead of just dealing what is so in reality, that's where upset happens. Another really good example is a lot of times people are in a body shape that isn't the one that they have expectations for. You know, currently I have been on a very long health journey for making myself as healthy as possible. And the current body that I'm in is not the expectation of the body that I want, but I'm dealing with, okay, this is my body shape. What does my body shape do for me today? My body shape is mobile. I can walk, which I couldn't a couple years ago. My body shape has given birth to twins. You know, these things, right? Find some positive about your current reality, and then you can do the work to create your expectations to line up with your current reality. Okay, so now I'm adding in some peas and I'm just kind of chopping them on an angle. Kind of fun shape, just a couple. Okay, I think that's enough. Okay, so my expectation was to have fresh bean sprouts for this salad. In reality, I got it canned because I could not find fresh bean sprouts at the store. So in reality, I could just leave these out, but I did have these in the back of my pantry and they need to get used up. So I am going to just use a few of them in the salad. I rinsed them really, really well because they kind of have this like funky smell to them when they're canned. There's no vinegar in it. It's bean sprouts, water, salt, and citric acid, but for some reason they smell kind of vinegary to me. I don't know why. I'm just gonna use a couple. I'll use the rest of these in some fried rice that I have planned coming up for a dinner. So now I got all these beautiful vegetables. I'm gonna add two more. I'm gonna add, three more. I'm gonna add some kale. So I've got this baby kale. That's why I said like, you can use whatever kale you had. This is just, I saw this baby kale and I knew it would be nice and tender for a salad. So that's why I went ahead and grabbed it. And then I'll put this up and then we're gonna cut up some cucumber. Let's see, my bowl is already getting pretty full. One of my cooking hacks is to make sure that when you're cooking without a recipe, it seems like you're always going to go to the size of bowl that you have. It happens. Like if you're making soup or whatever, it's like if you start with a small bowl, then hopefully you can manage your ingredients. Otherwise, it's like I just keep chopping till it fills up. So I'm hoping this is making sense. So just to reiterate, denying your current reality is what causes your upset, right? Like when you are angsty, when you have feelings, like it just is what it is. Like if you're looking at this cutting board and you wish you didn't have a blue cutting board, you want a green cutting board, and you just spend all this time being upset that it's not a green cutting board, that's not going to change anything. In reality, right now, I have a blue cutting board. So in life, whatever is, just is. In order to be happy, find a way for each situation that you're in to be what it is without judgment. It is what it is. The key component is where we get hung up is you push up against where I don't want it to be this way, but it is. That's your reality. It is what it is. It doesn't matter if it's what you want it to be or not. It is what it is. So once you get to that place where you can be like, okay, it is what it is, and you just can accept that and maybe hopefully find something positive. This is cilantro, by the way. Find something around that situation. Then you can create to a new circumstances. And one of those things is communication. Like I said at the beginning of my story time, one thing that I did was I communicated with my husband, like, okay, these are what I was expecting from these dates. And he's like, oh, well, this is what I was expecting. And then we were able to communicate to create a set of expectations that matched up. And like, for instance, coming up, our 19th anniversary is just a couple days away, like I said. And initially my first reaction was like, okay, we need to go to a fancy restaurant, blah, blah, these are my expectations. But then I was really like, this is really society's expectation. Society thinks for your anniversary, you should like celebrate in a big way. But this year, John and I just really aren't feeling it. I don't know why. Like some years we want to do it really big, and some years we're just like, we just spend time together. So we just communicated, we're just gonna like grab a lunch together on our anniversary or something like that, and just spend quality time. That's all we want. And our expectations are in alignment, so that way we will both be happy in the way that we celebrate our anniversary, and neither one of us will have, you know, a hurt set of expectations. So I would love to hear from you in the comment section down below if this is making any sense to you, and where do you see in your life where you are just like really frustrated against something that is stopping you because your reality, what your current circumstances are, is not matching up with your expectation of that situation. And, you know, I would love to respond and, you know, see if I can help you out with a new perspective. All right, these noodles are almost done, and then we will finish up this dish and give it a taste. Okay, so my noodles are done, and I have some poached chicken that I've shredded already from earlier in the week. I will link a video down below how you can get really easy shredded chicken. But if you don't already have some pre-shredded, you can also use canned chicken like this. I love this stuff because it's just chicken, water, and salt. There's no other ingredients in this. You could also just use some leftover grilled chicken you have. Like I said, you could leave out the chicken. Just, you know, make it yourself. Make it your own. So I just wanted a little extra protein. I'm going to serve the peanuts on the side because my family isn't a huge fan of peanuts. I love them though. All right, so maybe one more handful of the shredded chicken. I think I'm going to turn the rest of this into some chicken tortilla soup. I've been using this, I made a bunch and I've been using it in various meals. So we're gonna go ahead and add in this pasta. Oh man, see, I was trying to make just enough for 4, but I'm just not capable of that. And this is gonna feed a lot more, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and stir this up. Oh, the hot noodles are going to kind of sort of wilt down the vegetables a little bit, but still they're gonna maintain their freshness. I'm actually making this way ahead of dinner time because you could eat this warm or room temperature. So I'm going to start at room temperature and then take that dressing that we made earlier and just pour it on here and give it a chance for the noodles to soak it up. Give it a big stir. I'm going to taste this straight from the serving bowl because it's my family I'm cooking for, and why not? Oh, this smells so good. The ginger, love it. Let's give this a taste. Perfect. I have made versions of this before where you've like sauteed the vegetables and then they become just too wilted. And I've made it where the dressing just doesn't seem to coat the noodles enough. This is great. This dressing is strong enough that you get that flavor through. Absolutely perfect. I'm just staring at it because I'm trying to think if there's anything I would change. I'll probably eat some sriracha with mine because I like spicy. But honestly, this is gonna be delicious, and I think it's gonna be good tomorrow too for leftover lunch. I just wanna say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you got something out of it. I'm, turning the channel a little bit more towards inspiration. It's a direction that I've been wanting to take this channel for a long time, but trying to find a way to implement it was kind of my struggle. And, trying something new, it's always a little nerve-wracking. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video.